Imagine two of the greatest minds on Earth standing face to face. One, the master of the cosmos, who bent space and time. The other, a young revolutionary who dared to say the universe is uncertain. This was not just a meeting of physicists. It was a collision of worlds, of philosophies, of reality itself. When Einstein met Heisenberg, science trembled. And what followed was more than disagreement. It was a war of ideas that reshaped the 20th century. Born in 1901, Werner Heisenberg was part of the new generation of physicists, restless, brilliant, and daring. At just 23 years old, he formulated what would become one of the most revolutionary ideas in physics, the uncertainty principle. According to Heisenberg, we can never know both the position and momentum of a particle with absolute precision. The more precisely we know one, the less precisely we know the other. It wasn't just a technical limitation, it was a law of nature, a philosophical shift, a blow to determinism. Heisenberg's version of quantum mechanics, matrix mechanics, rejected the comfortable idea that the universe could be observed in full. It introduced probabilities where once there were laws. It told us, reality isn't certain, it's cloudy. It's statistical, it's unpredictable, and that didn't sit well with everyone. By the time Heisenberg made his breakthrough, Albert Einstein was already a legend, the architect of relativity, the man who showed that time could stretch and mass could become energy. But Einstein wasn't just a physicist, he was a philosopher of science. To him, the universe had order, predictability, underlying unity, and above all, determinism. When Heisenberg gave a lecture on his new quantum mechanics in 1926, Einstein was in the audience. He listened intently. He invited Heisenberg to his home, and there, in the quiet of Einstein's study, two titans met, not to agree, but to challenge. Heisenberg later recalled the conversation vividly. Einstein, respectful yet unconvinced, challenged Heisenberg's interpretation. "You say that you base your theory solely on observable quantities," Einstein said, "but in reality it is precisely the unobservable that gives a theory its power." Heisenberg responded that physics must restrict itself to what can be observed and measured, but Einstein shook his head. He wasn't impressed. He saw Heisenberg's approach as incomplete, perhaps even dangerous. To Einstein, reality must exist independently of observation. Just because we can't measure something doesn't mean it doesn't exist. "The world doesn't roll dice," Einstein famously said. Nature, to him, was not a gambler. This was more than a scientific disagreement. It was a clash of worldviews. Einstein's universe was lawful, elegant, and ultimately knowable, even if we hadn't figured it out yet. He believed in a hidden order, a deeper reality. Heisenberg's quantum world was probabilistic, uncertain, and fragmented. Observation affected reality. There was no way to peel back the veil and see the thing in itself, as Kant once dreamed. Einstein couldn't accept that. He once said to Niels Bohr, Heisenberg's ally, "God does not play dice with the universe." To which Bohr replied, "Stop telling God what to do." The debate rippled through the scientific community and through time. Though Einstein never accepted the Copenhagen interpretation of quantum mechanics, which Heisenberg helped shape, he never dismissed Heisenberg as a thinker. He respected his intellect, his rigor, and his courage. And Heisenberg respected Einstein, though he stood firm on his theory. This tension gave rise to the famous Einstein-Podolsky-Rosen (EPR) paradox in 1935, a thought experiment challenging quantum theory's spooky action at a distance. Decades later, it would lead to Bell's theorem and quantum entanglement, concepts that proved the universe was even stranger than both men had imagined. Einstein's skepticism laid the groundwork for future debate. Heisenberg's uncertainty became the foundation of quantum mechanics. Their disagreement wasn't a failure, it was a fuel for science, for philosophy, for how we understand the very nature of reality. In his final years, Einstein continued to search for a unified field theory, one elegant formula to explain everything. Heisenberg, meanwhile, continued his work on quantum field theory and even reflected on the philosophical meaning of his uncertainty principle. Neither man lived to see the full consequences of their debate. But today, every quantum computer, every discussion of multiverses, every exploration of black holes and particle fields carries the fingerprint of that encounter. That conversation between a young physicist who embraced mystery and an old master who still believed in cosmic certainty. Two men, two minds, two visions of reality. When Heisenberg met Einstein, it wasn't just science, it was the battle for truth itself. One said, reality is uncertain. The other said, reality must be real. And between them, in that sacred tension, the future of physics was born. This is more than a history lesson. It is a reminder that progress is not made in agreement, but in the courageous clash of minds. This was Einstein, this was Heisenberg, and this was a legend.